6 years ago, I lived in an old house, a solitary figure in a suburb far from the city's comforting hum. The house itself was a monument to the past, grand but imposing, its shadows stretching long and menacing in the dying light. An unsettling quiet hung heavy in the air that night, broken only by the occasional creak of the floorboards beneath my feet. My parents were away, visiting relatives, leaving me to the company of silence and a growing sense of unease. I tried to distract myself with the flickering images on the television screen, but a creeping anxiety gnawed at me. Every rustle of leaves outside the window, every groan of the old house, sent shivers down my spine. The shadows seemed to writhe and twist, taking on monstrous shapes in the dim light. Finally, unable to bear the tension any longer, I decided to retreat to the sanctuary of my bedroom, hoping sleep would chase away the shadows that danced across my mind. But sleep refused to come. An unnatural chill settled over the house, and a prickling sensation danced on my skin. Then, it came, a faint sound, almost imperceptible, from somewhere below. It was a sound that sent a jolt of fear through me, a sound that whispered of secrets hidden in the darkness. Curiosity warring with dread, I threw off the covers and crept towards the door. The floorboards creaked under my cautious steps as I made my way down the stairs, each groan a hammer blow to my racing heart. The sound was coming from the living room, a low hum that pulsed with an unsettling rhythm. Taking a deep breath, I pushed open the living room door, the old hinges groaning in protest. What I saw defied explanation. A strange light, faint and flickering, emanated from the fireplace. It pulsed and danced, casting grotesque shapes on the walls. My breath caught in my throat as I saw figures moving within the light, shadows swirling and coalescing into monstrous forms. Fear, cold and primal, gripped me, my muscles turning to stone. The figures within the light seemed to solidify, their forms becoming more distinct. They resembled ghosts, but unlike any ghost I had ever seen in stories. They were inky black, devoid of features, yet I could feel their malevolent presence reaching out towards me. Then, with a suddenness that stole the air from my lungs, one of the figures detached itself from the light and glided towards me. Panic surged through me, a primal scream trapped in my throat. The figure loomed closer, its cold touch brushing against my face. The world dissolved into a dizzying kaleidoscope of colors and sounds. My legs buckled beneath me, and I crumpled to the floor, swallowed by the darkness. When I woke up the next day, I didn't remember anything about what happened to me the night before. Everything seemed normal, and I found no trace of the strange light or the ghosts. I thought what happened was just a dream caused by my fear and anxiety. But I couldn't get rid of a strange feeling that something was not right. Was what I saw real? Who are these ghosts? What do they want from me? Days and weeks went by, but I couldn't forget that strange night. I was always feeling scared and anxious, and I was afraid to be alone in the house. One night, I was sitting in my room reading a book, and suddenly I heard a strange sound coming from downstairs. It was the same sound I had heard that night, and I knew I wasn't alone in the house. I got out of bed slowly and crept out of the room. I was very scared, but I was determined to find the source of the sound. I went downstairs slowly and tried to listen carefully. The sound was coming from the living room. I crept into the room and stopped breathing. I saw the same mysterious light coming out of the fireplace. But this time, I wasn't alone. I saw a strange figure standing in the shadows. I couldn't see the figure's features, but I felt an evil presence. Suddenly, the figure started to move towards the fireplace, as if something was pulling it towards it. The figure got closer and closer to the fireplace, and suddenly, I fell to the ground and blacked out. I don't remember what happened after that. I woke up in the hospital, and my mother was by my side. I asked her, "What happened?" My mother replied, "I found you unconscious in the living room. I don't know what happened to you." I didn't believe what I heard. Days passed since that strange night, but I couldn't forget it. I was always feeling scared and anxious, and I was afraid to be alone in the house. I began to doubt my sanity. Was what I saw real? Or was I suffering from hallucinations? I went to a psychiatrist, but he couldn't diagnose my condition. He told me that I might be suffering from a psychological complex, or that I was under severe stress. I wasn't convinced by the doctor's diagnosis. I knew that something strange was happening to me. I don't know if I'm suffering from a psychological complex or hallucinations. I don't know if what I saw was real. All I know is that I will never forget. Before we continue, if you like the video, subscribe to the channel and share the video so we can continue creating more stories. "13-year-old Alex moved with his family to a spacious and inviting house in a tranquil suburban neighborhood. The house was filled with bright rooms, large windows overlooking a beautiful garden, and an overall sense of comfort. One weekend, Alex's parents decided to visit relatives in a nearby city, leaving him alone in the house. Initially, he relished the opportunity to spend some time alone, enjoying the freedom and quietness. However, as night fell, a sense of unease crept over Alex. The house, once filled with warmth and light, now seemed eerily silent, the only sound being the wind rustling against the windows, creating an unsettling ambience. Suddenly, a faint knocking sound echoed from upstairs, breaking the silence and sending a shiver down Alex's spine. He froze, his heart pounding in his chest, unsure whether to investigate or ignore the unsettling noise. Curiosity and a hint of fear compelled Alex to cautiously rise from the couch and make his way up the dimly lit stairs. The lack of artificial lighting forced him to use his phone as a flashlight, its beam cutting through the darkness. As he walked along the hallway, his footsteps echoing in the silence, Alex's anxiety intensified. The knocking sound had ceased, but a palpable sense of dread hung in the air, making him feel like he was being watched. Reaching his room, Alex slowly opened the door, his eyes darting around the interior. The room was empty, but a chill ran down his spine when he noticed the window was slightly ajar. Confusion washed over him. He distinctly remembered closing the window before going to bed. How could it be open now? Shaken by the open window and the lingering fear, Alex returned downstairs, his mind racing with questions. He decided to get a glass of water to calm his nerves, but as he walked through the kitchen, another strange sound caught his attention. It was the faint sound of footsteps, as if someone was quietly walking around the house. Alex froze again, his heart pounding in his chest. He looked around, but there was no one in sight. Panic-stricken, Alex decided to call his mother. He recounted the events of the night, his voice trembling with fear. Initially, his mother dismissed his concerns, attributing them to his imagination and the unsettling atmosphere of the house. However, when the family returned the next day, they revealed that they had experienced similar occurrences. Alex's mother described hearing strange noises at night and feeling a constant presence in the house. His father reported seeing shadows moving in the corners of his vision. Realizing that his experiences were not merely figments of his imagination, Alex and his family decided to investigate further. They searched every corner of the house, hoping to uncover any clues that could explain the strange phenomena. Despite their meticulous search, they found no concrete evidence of paranormal activity. However, they noticed several odd occurrences, such as doors found open in the morning despite being securely closed the night before, and objects misplaced as if someone had tampered with them. News of their strange experiences spread among their neighbors, and some revealed that they too had heard strange noises or seen unexplained shadows in their own homes. The growing evidence of paranormal activity prompted Alex's family to seek help from a paranormal expert. The expert, an elderly man with an air of mystery, listened intently to their story and requested permission to examine the house. He spent hours meticulously inspecting every room, using his specialized equipment to detect any unusual energy signatures. Finally, he paused in the living room, pointing to a specific spot on the carpet. "Here," he declared, "lies the source of the negative energy." Alex and his family cautiously approached the spot, their curiosity piqued. As they moved aside the carpet, they discovered an old, hidden painting concealed beneath it. The painting was covered in strange symbols and figures, its overall aura exuding an unsettling energy. They couldn't decipher the meaning of the symbols, but they felt a palpable sense of dread emanating from it. The expert explained that the painting was the source of the paranormal disturbances in their home. He advised them to remove it immediately. The following day, Alex and his family took the painting to a remote location and burned it to ashes. Since then, the strange occurrences ceased, and they no longer felt the presence of an unseen entity. A sense of relief and security washed over them, but the haunting experience remained etched in their memories. They had encountered the inexplicable, faced the unknown, and emerged with a newfound respect for the unseen forces that sometimes intertwine with our lives.